Do your clients know, like, and trust you? If you're wavering on the answer, Correia has some suggestions for you respecting your client communications. Hey, wait, that's me. Other people talk about the classic maxim that people should know, like, and trust you, or something like that. And that gets you business. I've heard it attributed to Dale Carnegie, and it must appear in some business book somewhere. I'll be honest, though, I have no idea where it comes from. That's probably exactly how it works, though. People have to get to know you before they like you, and they've got to like you before they can grow to trust you. But this is true of any of the relationships you'll have, business or otherwise. Now, as a lawyer, your most important business relationships are those that you maintain with your clients. But do you really maintain those? Do your clients know, like, and trust you? If, as we alluded to earlier, you're wavering on that answer, I have some suggestions for you respecting your client communications. If, that is, you know, like, and trust me enough to listen to what I have to say. Here are 5 areas you can improve in client communications. Number 1, what you're doing now about technology. You use a number of technology programs, but damned if your clients have any idea what those are. For all they know, you're rocking an astrolabe. What you could be doing, clients are more educated and thus more empowered than they've ever been. You know their files are theirs, and they have an inkling that that's the case too. You've read about data breaches. Your clients are aware of identity theft and are worried about the security of their personal information. Clients create, at least mentally, checklists when they're hiring lawyers. Increasingly, those include check marks for the methods lawyers use to maintain and protect client files. So, explain to your clients how you manage their information, talk about the specific tools you use and what those tools do, tell clients you're concerned about securing their data, and relate to them the ways you go about doing that. Go through the options you provide for accessing their data and collaborating with you. If they're accessing data through your services, explain the importance of also securing their own access portals most effectively through the use of strong, privately held passwords. The best way to educate clients is through the mechanism of your fee agreement. With a twist, some law firms use client portals, some have apps, and others provide iPads to interested clients as a primary means for accessing their case information. 2, what you're doing now about client files. You store your files forever, to the point where your clients think your middle names are Iron Mountain. Yes, in this scenario, you have 2 middle names. What you could be doing, return your clients' files to them at an appropriate time after the close of the representation. Check your local ethics rules. And if you must be a Packrat, then be a paperless Packrat at least. Online storage options mean that you can create a virtual basement or garage for yourself full of old client matters, as long as you're willing to pay up for that storage at increasing levels as the years go on and the virtual Redwells pile up. It's still pretty cheap though. The best way to manage all this is to create and stick to a document management program. Acquire client sign-off on your document retention and disposition policy when you get the fee agreement executed. With a twist, return client files electronically. Save them to a branded, with your logo, encrypted thumb drive, or let clients download the file from one of your branded collaboration portals. Otherwise, make yourself look good. You want your hair to be nicely combed down when you make your appearance on Hoarders, or American Pickers, I guess. 3, what you're doing now about consistent communications. You haven't called your client in 3 years. When you do, she forgets there's a pending lawsuit and initially thinks you're calling from Publishers Clearinghouse. She's very disappointed. What you could be doing, one of the biggest mistakes you can make as a lawyer is only talking to your clients when you need something from them or when they call to yell at you. Set up a protocol to contact your clients on a recurring pattern just to check in. Before you call, review the case status so that you can provide a cogent update and answer any questions that may arise during the course of your conversation. The vast majority of bar complaints circle around lawyers' poor communication cycles with clients. I often recommend contacting clients every 6 weeks, at least. And I think a phone call is most effective. People get enough email these days. With a twist, you don't always have to talk shop. If you're the type of lawyer who's enough into marketing that you're keeping notes about your clients beyond specific case matters, ask your client who coaches her daughter's softball team about how the squad finished this year. If your client feels that you care about them as people, They're far more likely to trust you, and to remain loyal to you too. Of course, that all being said, case-specific questions are bound to come up, so be prepared. 4, what you're doing now about your team. You hire people to work with you, except your clients have no idea who they are or how many of them there are. You've never introduced your team. For all your clients know, your paralegal may be a horse. You're like Caligula at that point. What could you be doing? The first time you get your client into your office or on a video call, introduce everybody. Relay the functions of your staff and talk about the ways they'll work on the client's case. Let them interact as well. Allow your clients the opportunity to understand the personalities of your staff. Make them understand that you operate as a team. This will also make it easier when your staff members need to contact your clients. If you can reduce the who factor, you can increase the we factor. With a twist, in the office, equip each staff member with a different sort of candy. As you introduce your clients around, have your staff presence offer their wares. Know this, people love candy. And if you decide to place Rolos at each station, know that I will be your client for life. 5, what you're doing now about referrals. At no point during your representation of your client do you ask said client for a referral or a recommendation. When the representation ends, you do not include in your concluding letter a note respecting your willingness to receive referrals or recommendations, in keeping with your prior conduct. Your client assumes you're doing just fine and probably now vacationing in Turks and Caicos since her matter is finished, so she refers a friend with a lucrative claim to your colleague down the street. What you could be doing. Gaining referrals amounts to this. Ask. If you're not closing a successful representation with a request for referrals, you're doing yourself a thorough disservice. The most successful practices generate the bulk of their business through referrals, and those are the best cases usually. And your best source for those referrals is your existing clients, because they already know, like, and trust you, and they know and like the work that you do. This makes sense from an efficiency perspective as well. Referrals are the easiest sort of marketing that you can do because someone else is selling for you. They're selling you for you. You've already laid the groundwork. If your state's ethics rules allow you to post recommendations of your services, do it. Online buyers use recommendations as their chief criteria for purchasing. Think about the last time you booked a trip. A large part of determining which services you used was based on the ratings and recommendations at a travel site, was it not? Your clients think the same way that you do. With a twist. The trouble folks have in putting together recommendations is they don't know what to say. So the next time you're thinking of a recommendation from a former client, you should send them a template recommendation form or sample of a helpful recommendation you've already received. Smart lawyers always start drafting